Did you realise that xenon bulbs that you have in your headlights only last about 7 to 10 years because they slowly fade and eventually you'll need to replace them? So this is my Land Rover Discovery. It's a 2015, so it's now 10 years old, and I haven't had it too long, but when I got it I thought the lights weren't particularly bright, and I used to have one of these 20 years ago, and I then discovered it's got xenon bulbs, and I discovered these need replacing every 10 years or so. So I've done that today. I've changed the xenon bulbs here. This is the original one. It's now got the new bulbs in, and I'll show you later on in the video the difference. But in this video I'm going to show you what I found when you're buying xenon bulbs, because it's not as easy as it first seems. So I found when you go online to buy replacement bulbs, there was a lot of misinformation and a lot of errors on websites selling bulbs, and that actually started with the Land Rover's handbook here. So I went to the technical specifications, looked up what type of bulbs were fitted in this car, and these either have halogen or xenon bulbs. Mine's got xenon, and it said it is type D35, but D35 isn't a type of xenon bulb. It is actually a D3S, so even Land Rover can't get it right in their own handbook. It's also interesting that you can now change your own xenon bulbs, and indeed in the owner's manual here it shows you exactly how to do that. But I can remember when these were considered dangerous, and they're high voltage, they're actually 46 volt. But I had a Discovery and a Range Rover Sport 20 years ago, and I can remember back then there wasn't this section in the owner's manual. If the bulb went, you had to go to a dealer because these were considered too dangerous to touch. But obviously now you can change these yourself, and you can buy these bulbs on Amazon, and the manual shows you how to do it. So there's obviously no risk. You just obviously don't want to do it while it's hot because you can burn yourself, and you obviously turn your headlights off before you remove the electrical connector there. And on this car it was a really simple job to do, because they designed the headlights so you can take the headlight assembly out completely without any tools and flip it over and get access to those bulbs. So on this car I found it was the easiest job I've ever experienced when changing a bulb. So now when it comes to buying your bulbs, obviously you've got different sizes, and these are the DS3, and the originals in this case on this Land Rover were Osram bulbs. So I generally prefer to buy branded bulbs. I don't mess around with the cheaper stuff because you just can't be guaranteed of the quality. So when it comes to bulbs, I'd either be buying Osram, which are pretty much the best, or maybe Philips. But in this case I decided I want to get Osram again, and as I said, these were the originals, but they're flipping expensive. To buy the original basic Osram models, they're about £50 a bulb. Some places are charging up to £100 a bulb. The cheapest I found, the DS3 in the standard spec, was about £45 on Amazon. However, I thought while I'm changing them I would go up to a higher spec bulb just so I'd notice that bigger difference with the new bulbs. So as always, you can get standard bulbs, long life ones, blue emitting light ones, laser ones, all different versions. I prefer to stick to Osram because I like Osram stuff, and I've used Osram bulbs many times in the past. However, I would just say I've never actually needed to change a xenon bulb. So this is the first time I bought xenon bulbs, because I've never had a car long enough that needed new bulbs. So yeah, I've never needed to buy them. So it was a bit of a learning curve for me, and that's why I'm making this video, because I found there was a lot of misinformation out there on the internet. So I focused on Osram bulbs, and I'll just share with you what I found when trying to buy these bulbs. So when buying an Osram bulb, you've got the standard ones, or you've got various other models which improve the light output. So in this case, the standard ones are about £50 a bulb. Then you've got the Nightbreaker 220 Xenarc. These tend to be more like £80 a bulb. And then you've got the laser version, and now the laser gen, or laser next gen they're actually called, and they tend to be more like £120 a bulb. But I found a lot of sellers were listing them incorrectly, and indeed these ones I bought, they were actually listed as the laser version, which are the more expensive ones, but then the picture was of this box. So you actually have to look at the part number, because I found a lot of listings on eBay and Amazon, they would put the wrong description. Well, the description wouldn't match the actual part number. So the best place to start with is the actual manufacturer's website, whether it's Philips or Osram in this case. Look at what they're offering, look at the part numbers, and then just make sure that what the seller is selling is actually the bulb that you're expecting. So in my case, I bought the twin pack because that's slightly cheaper, and these are the Nightbreaker 220 Xenarc, but they were listed, as I said, as the more expensive laser one, so there was some doubt what I was actually going to get, but the price was about right for these. If they were going to be the laser ones, they would have been another 50, 60 or 70 pounds more. So I did get what I was expecting, because I also did look at the serial numbers, but the advert was wrong, as many of them were. And also when I was looking at Land Rover sites, the places that sell the Land Rover parts, they were listing the Osram bulb, because that's what Land Rover were fitting. The original Land Rover part was £300 just for the single bulb, and they were listing laser ones for £60, and they wouldn't have been the laser version. They would have been the original one, which you can buy on Amazon for £46 or so. So a lot of misinformation out there. So check the manufacturer's website, check the part number, and just make sure you know what you're buying. So when you're buying upgraded bulbs, they give you more light output, and as it says here, these are up to 220% better than a standard bulb. This is all marketing rubbish a bit, really, I think. But anyway, I've used the upgraded Nightbreaker bulbs before in halogen, and they definitely were better than the standard ones, and I've got videos on the channel about that as well. But strange, when I was looking at these Xenons, the original base one is 35 watt, 3200 lumens. You look at this, or the laser, or the blue one, all the other versions, they're still 35 watt, 3200 lumens. So how can these have more light output if they've got the same lumens? The color temperature does change though with the different versions, and these are noticeably whiter and bluer than these originals. I don't know whether it's just because these are 10 years old and have faded, but there is a difference in the color, but that lumens number is the same. So quite how these can be 220% better, I don't know. But anyway, I thought I'd buy these upgraded ones just because I then buy once and I've noticed a difference. So let's see what they look like. 90% of the viewers of this channel are not subscribed. I'm sorry to ask, but it would help greatly if you would. Just press the subscribe button. It's free and it shows YouTube you like this sort of vehicle related content. If you want to be notified when new videos are released, please click on the bell button also. Thank you, it really helps more than you would imagine. Both the original and the upgraded bulbs look identical. The element and the stickers look the same on both. The Xenarc original is on the right and the new Nightbreaker 220 is on the left. The first set of pictures are about the distance you would drive behind another car, and the second set are closer to the wall. Initially, I was a bit disappointed because I couldn't really notice much of a difference, but studying the pictures you can see that the new bulbs are brighter and does give a wider beam of light. But later on, when driving on the roads in the dark, the new bulbs were significantly better, and the span of light seemed to be wider and maybe reached further down the road, but they were certainly brighter and whiter. So in the video description below, I will put links to these ones I bought and the standard ones that I found on Amazon, which are definitely the cheapest, and also to the manufacturer's website. So I hope you found that video useful or interesting. If you have, please do click the thumbs up. As always, do subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on the next one.